the improvement of the welfare of the Kenyan people. So let the church speak. Let the church be allowed an opportunity to comment on what is going on. Let us not, persecute the church, because I had some politicians saying, let the church leave the politics to us. There's nothing like that. Okay. The church leads people. All these things is about the people. It's only that people play different roles, but it's the same people. Mm-hmm. The welfare of the Kenyan people is important to everybody, from the state to the church. And people must be allowed to comment freely. And what we saw yesterday is interference with the freedom of worship. Okay. And I want to ask our young people, especially from our community, don't take little money and harm your brother and sister. It's unfortunate that these people, the government is taking advantage of people who are not employed to really misuse them and give them money to harm other people, destroy property. I would like to plead with our young people. Much as I know you are jobless and you are having problems, there is still an opportunity where you can earn some money without hurting somebody else, without destroying property, without creating chaos, without creating mayhem. Right. There is still that opportunity.
The clarion call has been received. So, in terms of freely commenting, I'd like you to react to a comment by the CDF General Charles Kahariri, who not too long ago questioned the Ruto must go chance in reaction to the digital space being used for digital dissent. Not too long ago, equally, we saw the Inspector General of Police during a political gathering. He spoke briefly away from politics, but his presence spoke a lot. He mentioned that he was there for security, to plan the security ahead of the president's visit in the region. But if you put these two things together, as much as the police is independent and the military should be apolitical and not suppress the freedom of speech, don't you think that this Ruto must go chance can actually incite an unconstitutional action?
I don't think so. Ruto must go is a clarion call for preparing people for the general election. Moi must go was there. Moi was not even a candidate in 2022, but it was there because he had a project. That did not lead to any unconstitutional change of government. I think people are just gearing towards the election, and our constitution guarantees the freedom of expression, freedom of speech. If you feel dissatisfied with the performance of William Ruto and you say he must go, you have committed no crime. You will be able also to express yourself on the ballot. What the CDF said is very unfortunate. The military is most trusted institution in this country, and our military is very professional and is respected. That is why you find we have been called to oversee peace missions by the UN, by the AU across the world for years, because our military has been very, very professional. That's why you find even when the military came to the streets during the Gen Z were marching with the soldiers because they have confidence in them. I don't want to advise General Kahariri, but I haven't worked with the President William Ruto. I want to tell him to be very careful. I saw the way IG Japheth Kome was set up by President William Ruto during the Gen Z protest. He set him up, go and say this, go and say that, go and say this. And then when there was too much pressure, he called him in my presence and asked him to resign. Probably the general has been told, go and say this so that there is public backlash, and probably prepare a way for his exit. I'm not sure, but let him be careful because I know President William Ruto. IG Kanja spoke in Kikuyu in Nyeri asking people whether they are happy that the president has come. He has no business as IG to go and market the president in Nyeri or elsewhere. That is not his work. And even if he was here to keep security, that also begs a question. How insecure was the president that he needed the IG himself to be in charge of his security detail? It has never happened. I see the regional commanders take charge of the president when he is in a region together with the presidential escort commander. I've never seen an IG take over, the security of the president, unless you tell me that the president was having a serious challenge in Nyeri. What I know is that Douglas Kaja was tricked by Mr. Esa to come on top of the vehicle and speak so that they can set him up for public backlash, so that if they want to exit him, they have somewhere to start. That's the way they did to Japheth Kome. I want to ask IG Kaja, I want to ask General Kahariri, be careful. The president has been a purge of people from our region. Probably you are being set up, and you be careful. Be very measured in what you say. Remain very professional. Please don't allow the president, don't give him an opportunity to find a reason to exit the two of you, because I know him and I know what he's up to. I have seen the way he's going. The other day, he removed our 5 chairmen, Dede Nyoro, Wanjiko Mohea, James Gakuya, everybody. He removed the John Methel, he removed Nyoto, he removed Murango, he removed Karungo Thangwa, and replaced them with people from Western, people from Nyanza, people from Coast. The president, since he removed me, has just been removing everybody. And one of the things we used to disagree with him, I will never allow him to remove our people. And since now there is nobody to defend, because his assistant has confirmed publicly that he has confirmed publicly. So he cannot fight for the mountain people. The president will do whatever he wants. So General Kahariri, IG Kaja, please be careful. Don't set yourself up for slaughter, because I can see when I look at the public outrage, probably the president has just tricked you to make some funny comments so that he sets you up for slaughter. You know, just the way he had told me to talk about the shareholding, he set me up and then used the whole thing to exit me.
So he told you to talk about it?
He's the one. He is the one who had told me wewe hii maneno ya watu wetu wale walitupigia kura wewe pigia debe na wewe pigia hao debe. Then he used the same thing to set me up. So I think General Kahariri, Kanja, I think the president is setting them up. Let them be careful.
Okay. I'd like to pick a few questions from our viewers as we conclude our conversation right here. One of them being that, and I think they're reflecting from what one of the president's men said yesterday, because he was asking, how can you lead a country yet your statements are divisive? One of our viewers is asking that he's heard so much about the mountain and not about Kenya in general. So they seem to be putting you in that tag of a regional kingpin, yet you're playing in the national politics space.
Let me tell you, William Ruto is a master of false narratives. He created a narrative against Uhuru Kenyatta that he's a drunkard. He created a narrative against Raila Odinga that he's a witch doctor. He is creating a narrative against Rigathi Gachagua that he's a tribalist. When I fought for Gen Zs, they were not from the Mount Kenya. You know, when I went to northeastern Kenya to give food during El Nino, those people are not from Mount Kenya. I speak for the Kenyan people, but I also come from somewhere. And there are some people who expect me to stand up for them. And again, my brother, when these people go to meetings, they say that they'll gang up and isolate the people of Mount Kenya. What do they expect me to do? They expect me just to keep quiet and let them isolate Mount Kenya? When the president is purging the people from the community, they expect me just to keep quiet and let him purge the people from the community so that I'm seen to be national? I am a nationalist. When I talk about the payslip holders, when I say the president has raided the payslip and a new administration that I'll be part of will restore the dignity of the payslip, is that about Mount Kenya? When I say Kenyans are being overtaxed, is that about Mount Kenya? You know, this brand of trying to brand me as a tribalist is William Ruto. You saw him trying with the Ed and Duale, trying to create a wedge between me and the Somali community. Simply because I said, Nurdin Haji is not doing his job properly. They try to create a narrative that I have something against Somali. Let me tell you, the Somali community and our people are one. We are business people. If you go from Thika here, Sagana, Karatina, Narumoro, Nyanyuki, Meru, the Somalis are everywhere. If you go to Isili here, the Kikuyu community and the Somali community are one. And we work together. And myself, I do business with the Somali community. You know, and there is no way the people of Mount Kenya can survive business-wise without the Somali community. But simply because I talked about one individual, they try to say that I have something against the Somali community. I'd like to assure the people of the Somali community, yourselves and the people of the mountain are one. We are business people. And by the way, the Somali community are good people. You know, they are trusted. You don't even have to write anything. These things I had agreed with William Ruto. If I had agreed with the Somali, I will not be here in this position today. They would keep their word. So that narrative of trying to say I'm tribal is William Ruto. And that is why you see, when he went to the mountain, if he was a man enough, Why didn't he talk about me anywhere in any meeting? Why didn't he stand in Kirinyaga or in Embu and say Rigathi Gachagua is a tribalist? He wouldn't, because the people know. When you say Rigathi Gachagua is tribal, you are actually fighting with the people of the mountain.
All right.
How come President William Ruto is cheating the people of the mountain that he has a 20-year friendship with them, yet he superintended over a meeting where the Honorable Wanyama said the people of the mountain should be isolated? William Ruto was the last speaker. How come he did not admonish him and say that is wrong? And then he is here cheating the people of the mountain that he is their friend, yet he is the one who is very busy, crafting a narrative, trying to get 40 versus 1, what he did to the people of the mountain between 2005 and 2007. Because the Pentagon, William Ruto was the most active person of mobilizing all other communities against the people of the mountain.
Okay. So your claims on the president's commercial interest in DRC seem to leave more questions than answers. A couple of viewers are asking that Rigathi hasn't told us who Ruto is working with in M23, because the rebel group is part of the Congo River Alliance. Is there any other president in the region that is working with Ruto to extract gold from...
I'll not talk about presidents of other friendly countries because it's not right for me to do so. I'll talk about my president whom I elected and whom I have a right to criticize and to tell the people of Kenya who he is. I will not talk about other presidents. I'll just talk about President William Ruto, because he is accountable to the people of Kenya, I being one of them.
So how is the president involved in these gold dealings in DRC?
He has been having meetings with M23. And that
so
is
having
why
meetings substantiate...
What do you think? What would you be discussing?
A peace process.
What peace process?
I mean,
how can you do a peace? How can you do a peace process outside the Uhuru arrangement?
Rwanda, yeah.
I mean, let him work through President Uhuru Kenyatta. President Uhuru Kenyatta is leading the peace process. Why is he having a parallel or engagement with M23 if there is nothing sinister?
Someone else is asking, do you believe the president is sincere in sending Raila Odinga to ease the tension in South Sudan, considering that you doubt Ruto's take on Sudan?
Well, I talked about the Sudan, not Southern Sudan.
Oh, yes. Now he's asking.
But I don't know. William Ruto are two different people. What he says in public, what he does in office, in private, are totally different things. And in fact, most people who came to the mountain, like 20%, wanted to see whether he's the same person who used to come and talk to them. Because all the things he told them, he has done the exact opposite. He went to a place there in Laikipia West to open a classroom done by KDF. But the cost of going there, 9 choppers at a cost of about 4 million shillings, more than 200 vehicles. The personnel, the per diem, the whole thing would have put up about 5 schools. People are just looking at him. He went to Nyanyuki, market, and the market was closed from morning to evening to wait for him. What used to happen during the Moi era. And he was not coming to do anything because he's not an engineer, he's not an architect, he's not anything. When he went to Meru, to open a sewage that he had opened 7 years ago in Maua, instead of going to Nithi Bridge and giving a practical solution, because that is what he promised the people.
Well, he said before the 2027 election,
but he had said 6 months. And he should stop telling people about to have faith in him. He made promises. If somebody, lets you money and you say you pay by this date, if for whatever reason you cannot pay by that date, you give him a good reason. But you don't get irritated when he says you are dishonest. William Ruto is saying that we should believe in faith. That since he said you do it, we should have faith that you do it. No. Leadership is about being pragmatic. It's being practical. He is the one who set the timelines. Nobody set for him. When he said you need the bridge within 6 months of being sworn in, he's the one who gave that commitment. He should have gone back to the people of Meru and said, hey, I made a commitment for 6 months. It's not possible. Now he's saying he will do it before 2027. What the people are saying, not just in the mountain, but across the whole country, they are saying, don't say it anymore, just do it. And they are saying, do what Mwai Kibaki did. Don't come to inspect projects. Don't come to launch. Do it, finish, then come. Mwai Kibaki, when he did Thika Road, and it was done, you know what he did? He just drove through the road to Ulaya. Yeah, no fanfare, nothing. just to see and enjoy that the road is smooth. Let all these projects be finished. Yeah. Then when they are finished, he can come and launch. He went to a place to launch 4 posts in a pickup. I mean, what is that? Transformers. Those are things that the assistant county commissioner can do. Because the cost of moving a president, my friend, the cost of moving a president, it's so enormous. And in what he is launching, his movement surpasses the actual cost of what he's going to see. You find that this cost of this trip that he did in the mountain is in excess of $1 billion shillings. Yeah. That money would have finished most of the projects that are stored when you sit in the road. Anyway, we are looking at it, we know. We know the cost of the choppers, the cost of the vehicles, the per diems, that was fed for buses, the one for giving border guys, the one for giving women and dancers, is in excess of $1 billion shillings.
Then let me ask you this, because the president said during the Mount Kenya tour that the people will examine all of the politicians in 2027. He added that he will be ready for that political test since he's preparing for it through the actualization of promises that were made. 2.5 years plus some change down the line in this Kenya Kwanza administration. How far are we in actualizing the promises that you and President William Ruto made to the Republic of Kenya? I'm not part of government. You can ask me that question. I'm not part of government. I can just tell you that most of the promises have not been kept. And the people are angry. And even when I was in office, they were telling me, and I'll raise the matters with him and he'll be very offended. But are Kenyans being too hard on the president? You yourself said you found a dilapidated economy. At the end of the day, the expectations are so much, but the reality
but you see the problem.
Finances
that I thought was the position. But when I saw the money was available the way it is being used, like now, the other day, supplementary 2, we gave 10 billion shillings to the National Intelligence Service, purportedly to restore peace in the region. And the president is the one who is causing problems in the region. But that money is not for restoring any peace. That is money for the president, is what he is using for campaigning. That is money that is meant for development. 10 billion through the list is what the president is drawing. And they drew a lot of money that 1 week through accounts held by National Intelligence Service. We have people everywhere, cash money, and it's going for that. So what we are saying is, whatever little money that is available, people want to see something. People are being overtaxed, but they are not seeing a corresponding service that will match the taxation. People ordinarily wouldn't have a problem with paying taxes, but people would also want to see their taxes are being used appropriately. Okay. So when they see you with 9 choppers going to open 1 classroom in Laikipia West, people feel very offended, extremely offended. When they find the money meant for taxes is being used to bribe people to attend meetings, people get very offended. But they still take the money because the money is already out there. In any case, even if they don't take it, it will be taken by somebody else. But taxpayers are very, very, very offended by what is happening, the misuse and misappropriation of resources that are meant for development, that are meant to improve their lives.
Okay. Yeah. As we finalize, because we've definitely bought into the prime time and we were supposed to conclude a little bit earlier. You mentioned that in May you will be launching your political party, that all things are ready, considered, and it's just waiting for the launch. For those who might question that, you still have an impeachment hanging over you and you're locked out of office, what exactly is the end goal? And the last time we were talking here, you said that you could force a mini general election. Is that still in the plans?
The matter of the impeachment is before courts of law. The matter is fairly straightforward. The MPs say they voted me out because I said they will lose their seats. So there was nothing constitutional. The president said I was voted out because I wanted money from him. If I wanted money from the president, there's nothing unconstitutional about it. So it's very clear, really, that there was nothing, and I'm sure the judges have taken judicial notice of these pronouncements. That all the MPs are saying they had to get rid of me because if they don't get rid of me, I will get rid of them. So I believe the law will take its course. But as I told you, the right to file for office is absolute, is protected in the Constitution. And our Constitution is very clear that you cannot be barred from running for office until you have exhausted the available remedies in law that is fighting your case all the way to the Supreme Court. We have not even started, So if the matter is not concluded before 2027, I'll fight for whatever office I want to fight for. If I want to fight for president, I believe I'm qualified. If I want to be whatever, I'll do whatever I want to do. And that matter is being used by my opponents to tell people the mountain, don't follow this man, he cannot run for office. I don't have to run for office. I have a responsibility to unite my people, to make them relevant in the national political discourse. I have a responsibility to craft a political party, a political vehicle for the region so that they can participate in a meaningful manner in a general election. I have a responsibility to mentor young people, which I'm doing. I don't have to be in office. My friend, many people think about positional leadership. Leadership is defined in many aspects. You have positional leadership, you have charismatic leadership, you have traditional leadership, you have effective leadership. I am in effective leadership. Today, how do you explain I'm not a deputy president? I hold no office in this country. Every talk, in every meeting, the whole country is about Rigathi. You cannot talk a man, everybody is talking about a man who is nothing, who has no influence, who is not a leader. How come? The president himself called a press conference to discuss me. All his people discuss me every day. If you look at the headlines, they just talk about Rigathi. Because Rigathi is a leader. He's a movement. He has people behind him in millions. And whether he has a position or not, is that he is a leader, because a leader is somebody who has followers. And if I had no followers, nobody would be bothered about me. That is why they disrupt my meetings, because they don't want me to talk to people. Because one, I'm persuasive.
Okay.
I have powers of oratory. I have a way with the people. I have the language with the people. I am convincing. And I have effective leadership. And I carry people along with me. And I've just said to you what William Ruto talked about me. What he said then, that is the true Rigathi Gachagua. What he is saying today, and something I was saying, he says, and he said, that's why you see William Ruto is a pathological liar. He said, I would not allow my deputy to be disrespected, particularly by junior staff. Disrespected or humiliated, and I've committed myself in writing. That is what exactly he did. These people he's saying I was fighting, he is the one who was sending them to disrespect me. And they would come from his chopper, they abuse me. They are standing on top of his vehicle, they abuse me. Even I was looking today at the issue of Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria is one of our most bright leaders from the Mount Kenya region. And today he's in problems. When Moses Kuria was Minister for Trade, he's the one who started the county aggregation and industrial parks. A brilliant idea. Since they removed him from there, that project is stuck. And when I asked President why he's sacking him, he said that he's a thief. So today I'm wondering, I have seen Moses Kuria is being auctioned. If Moses Kuria had stolen anything from anybody, how come he has nothing? He has no money to pay his debts, And I knew, the issues that took place in Kenya National Trading Corporation, KNTC. The procurement was done in State House. And when they brought edible oil and rice and there was a scandal, they wanted to push it to Moses Kuria. And another lady called Pamela who has been taken to court. And they have used this thing to intimidate Moses Kuria, that they can open, trumped up charges against him. But I really want to ask a question. I was asking myself, if the way the president told me he removed Moses Kuria as minister because he was corrupt, how come today that Moses Kuria, today the court allowed these things to be auctioned? If he had money he had stolen from the ministry, he would be able to pay his debts. Again, the president did not want any leader from the mountain who has a brain, who is principled, and who can do anything. That is why he got rid of Rigathi Gachagua, Moses Kuria, Methekali Nturi, Justin Muturi.
You're talking about Moses Kuria, who's the economic advisor to the president.
I am saying you cannot remove
so he's not getting rid
You cannot get a man as minister and make him an advisor. That is a joke. It's like chasing away a wife and making him a maid in your house. It's very disrespectful.
Okay.
But I want to say,
yes,
Moses Kuria, you cannot replace Moses Kuria with William Kabogo. It's an insult to the people of Kiambu and the people of the mountain. Moses Kuria is a brilliant mind, and I can tell you this idea of types that Moses Kuria came up with. And the president allowed him to stay as Minister for Investment, Trade and Industry. Today, those things will be working. And we will not be having the situation we are having with avocado, with carrots, with potatoes. Yeah? But because he's a brilliant mind, yeah, he had to be edged out and given some peripheral job there who advised me on this and that. And Moses Kuria cannot advise William Ruto. William Ruto takes no advice. William Ruto advises William Ruto. When you hear that you are presidential advisor, you just get a salary and know what to do. He cannot listen to any advice from anybody.
Tell me this. Are there any commercial interests in Haiti deployment? Because we've definitely seen a couple of casualties, and there was some progress at the initial phase, but it seems the gang-related violence might be surging in Haiti.
I sat with the president when he made a decision to take our policemen to Haiti. And as a former security officer in government, I did persuade my boss that I found it inappropriate and unnecessary. And Donald Trump has taught us a big lesson, that America first. What is the point of us going to help the people of Haiti when we have security challenges in this country? We have problems in the North Rift. We have problems in Wachia. We have problems in Mandera. We don't have enough policemen, to help our security situation in the country. Again, we voted funds in the National Treasury when most of our police stations have no vehicles, when our officers have no uniform. What is the point of trying to look so international to take our force to take our officers to Haiti when we have serious challenges in the country? And I think the president told us that time that the whole thing will be done by the United Nations. But I still find them appropriating money in the budget for Haiti. But he gave us a promise that we are not going to spend a cent. But I still had a problem. I told him, Mr. President, even if we are not going to spend a cent, I would rather these officers help our people here in the country, because we have serious security challenges and we don't have enough officers. So, to me, the whole thing was misguided. It was unnecessary. And I think the former ambassador to the U.S., Meg Whitman, was very close to the president. I think she's the one who persuaded him. And because the president that 1 year wanted to look very international, to be everywhere and to look as the new guy on the space, he was willing to do anything to get an international image. The whole thing was misadvised. It was unnecessary. It has backfired. Mr. President, please, only a fool doesn't change his mind. Cancel this thing. Let our boys and girls come back home so that they are safe and they can also take care of their motherland, just the way America is doing. They are saying America first. Ushughulike mambo yako kwanza. Wewe unajifanya mjuaji atikwenda kusaidia Haiti na hapa nyumbani police stations have no vehicles. I had these MPs who are there telling the president we have no vehicles. These ones who follow him. Yet money, 2.5 billion, has been allocated to Haiti. Why can't we have that money to purchase vehicles so that they can be able to do patrols, they can be able to do maneuvers, they can be able to secure our country and make sure our people are in peace and they are secure.
Okay. In conclusion, Rigathi, all things said and done, major pronouncements have been made by you. You've substantiated some of these pronouncements. Others remain as allegations. But to the Kenyan who's watching back at home, who might be balancing between trusting a man who acts closely with the head of state or trusting the head of state himself, who you've castigated vehemently, what do you tell the ordinary Mwananchi, not just the Wanjiko, but the Mora, all across the country?
The people of Kenya knows between Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto who lies. It is obvious. Instances are there. All the things he has said, he'll do. He said that when he becomes president, he'll give free diapers to the people of Kenya. Nothing. He said he'll supply gas cylinders to every home? He has not. He said he'll put money into people's pockets. He came and took the little that was there and took it to housing. He said there will be no abductions and extrajudicial killings. It is happening. He said he'll not interfere with the relations of friendly countries. He's interfering. He said he will not use the criminal justice system to manage politics. He's using DCI to harass Kadhanu Mushomba, to harass everybody. Everything that he told the people of Kenya he'll do, he has not done.
It's not everything. I remember throwing the baby with the
there is nothing. There is the only thing.
Top of my head, the hiring of teachers.
The hiring of teachers against the law. Teachers are supposed to be hired by the Teacher Service Commission. The women rep from Murang'a publicly said that these forms are issued in State House. So the president is hiring teachers because he's the one who is hiring teachers. I've told you, he's doing all the procurement. He's a chief finance officer. He's a chief accountant. He's a chief employer. Even as we speak today, they are trying to change the law to take over the functions of the Public Service Commission and give them to Felix Kosgei as head of public service so that he can employ people from State House. You know, the Constitution says to change the functions of the Public